my floss tube friends, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Carla and I live in Scotland, and I'm back at the end of September with all my progress and update. It's a beautiful Thursday sunny day outside, but instead of going outside and enjoying the sunshine, I really wanted to come here and update all you guys with my stitching progress and anything else that I've been up to over the course of the month. We haven't quite got to the end of September yet, but it doesn't matter because it's just a couple of days away. And I do also want to talk about some of my October plans, which are a little bit exciting, or at least exciting for me. So yeah, I hope everybody is well and that you've all done some lovely stitching over September and that you've all been keeping well. I have been watching quite a number of floss tubes and catching up with some of my favorites and following some Stitch With Me's, and yeah, just generally enjoying what everybody else has been doing and, you know, the progress that they've been making and everything. It's been really interesting. I feel like I've had a good month overall, I have to say. I don't always expect to get too much stitching in the, you know, throughout the summer, because obviously for some of us, we like to go out a bit more and, you know, just spend the time, you know, because in Scotland, we don't get as much sun as other countries anyway. So we have to make the best of it when it's here. So sitting indoors stitching, I prefer to do more in the evenings in the summer, and in the winter, I'll probably spend a little bit more time on it. But overall, even though it's been a lovely, it's been fairly nice over the month, I'm still quite happy with how much stitching I've actually got done. And yeah, there's a couple of exciting, there's a new exciting chart I want to show you, and also one which I started, a new one which I mentioned in my last video that I was going to start, and I did start at the beginning of September, and I can't believe how much progress I've got done on that. I just seem to have gone completely mad and yeah, and really focused on that. But yeah, I'll show you that when I get to it. So let's begin. So I'm just going to move this is my little lucky cat. You know, we all need a lucky cat, and I've got a ragdoll, and I'm not sure how lucky she is actually, but I thought I'll take a chance and get this lucky cat and this wonderful mug, which just proves that I am something of a witch, even if just a basic one. My little spoon, and I like to have this on the mantelpiece. And like, so for Halloween, it's a good idea to get a few little things that you like if you're into that sort of thing. Anyway, so let's move forward. So first of all, I'm going to show you 7 projects which I've worked on. I always say, and I think I said it in my last video, that I like to work on about 2 or 3 projects maximum over a few weeks, because I feel like I get more progress done on them. But it never works out like that, does it? I always tend to just sort of backtrack and end up adding more and adding more and adding more. So I don't think I'm the only person who has that problem. Maybe it's not even, shouldn't even be called a problem. It's just what it is. You know, you pick up what you want to stitch on and you enjoy that. And I feel like I've kind of been going in that direction for the most of the year, to be honest, just picking up what I want and not doing what I don't want, and it's just as simple as that. At the end of the day, it's a hobby and I don't have to do anything in particular. So first of all, I'm going to show you one of my charts called Fairy Whisper, and I have a picture of it. I did manage to get all these pages together. Just want to make sure that this is actually recording and not letting me down. Yeah, it is. So this is Fairy Whispers by Lisa Parker, and it says here that I started it in August. Well, this is actually a restart. I don't want to go into the whole restart story, but yeah, I'd been trying it out on various fabrics. Hadn't been working for me. I feel like I'm talking too fast and I need to slow down. Hadn't been working for me, and so I restarted it again on the 25 count gridded, because I think that's kind of my go-to now for the most part. But more about the fabric later, because I have started one on a different fabric. So I really love this. I've already done a Lisa Parker design called Bewitched, which is on my wall. So I am quite fond of them. And I'm also doing a story keep of Lisa Parker. So that's 3 Lisa Parker designs in total. But this one is, yeah, it's not too big. And my 25 count, it was 375 by 493, so that's not too bad. It's not small. And I've started it doing 25, sorry, 2/1. I'll start again, shall I? 1/1 full cross on 25 count. And okay, there isn't a huge amount to show. However, compared to my last video, I have done all this section here. This is not the project that I have focused on this month at all by any means. This one just came out a couple of times. Actually, I can tell you how many times it came out because I have done this wonderful spreadsheet on my computer, and I'm not really one for numbers, to be honest, but I thought I'd do it for the ones that I'm working on this month only, just to see how it goes, to see how interesting it looks. And it looks fairly interesting. So I've got all the times I've worked on a piece, and at the end, how many stitches I got in all. So for Fairy Whispers, I have brought it out 3 times this month, and I've got a total of 800. So that's not too shabby. 800 stitches is 800 stitches, and I didn't even expect to be working on it this month, but I have done all this area here. Now I started working on diagonal, and then I moved to block, sort of block section here. And then I tried to do a little bit of cross country. I wasn't enjoying the cross country, I'll be fairly honest. I'm finding that my eyes, I don't know if it's to do with the time of year or if it's just because I'm generally getting older and my eyes are getting tired more quickly. But working in between on the little gaps, I'm finding quite tiring to do. And in some cases, difficult to get my needle in between such a small hole when there's all stitches all around it. Yeah, so I'll talk about that a bit more after. But I have been struggling a little bit. So I went back to doing the sort of row by row, which is really quick actually, because I've only got like 2 or 3 colors here in this area. So I was quite happily, say, doing 3 or 4 rows in one color, parking it, then going back and doing 3 or 4 rows in the other color, parking it, then going back and on down. So I'm still getting things done, you know, the stitches in quite quickly. I'm just not leaving any gaps. And I found that was easier for me with regards to my tired eyes, although I do like cross country for the fact that it's quicker, you get more stitches done. However, as I've just explained, my eyes are getting tired. But as I was going to say, not just because my eyes are getting older, but also because I suffer from allergies. And I don't know if any of you have the same issues, but when you've got allergies, your eyes get itchy, they tend to get more tired more quickly. You end up rubbing them and what have you, have to take an antihistamine. That's been happening quite a lot. At the moment, I've been suffering quite badly with my allergies. I've got a lot of trapped mucus in my sinuses and in the back of my nose. I'm even finding it difficult now actually to speak consistently. I have to keep swallowing. It's just not nice. And it does go away. I mean, I think the change in the weather at the moment, the change in pressure in the weather is actually affecting my sinuses quite a bit. But ear, nose and throat and eyes are all connected, so it does affect my eyesight. And some days I find my eyesight is a bit sharper, a bit brighter, and on days when my allergies are pretty bad, they're just nothing works well. So for that reason, I've gone back to doing the row by rows, which is relaxing and quite, you know, okay. So I'm quite happy with going at a nice steady pace. I'm not trying to finish anything in a hurry. I'm just trying to spend more time when I actually bring out one of my whips, because I want to bring it out. I'm trying to spend more time actually getting into it and enjoying what I'm doing, rather than just thinking, oh, I've got to get 100 stitches done. I've got to get 100 stitches. I'm trying to get out of that mindset because I feel like it's too, I don't know, it doesn't sit right. I want to be spending my time, seeing as these things take so long to do, I want to make sure that when I'm actually doing it, that I want to be doing it. So it came out 3 times and I got 807 stitches this month. Happy with that. I think when I get back to it, I'm going to work, well, again, I don't know, we'll see. I'll probably finish this area. I keep at the moment being not sure whether to go down or to go, you know, to the end of the chart. I think sometimes it's easier when the chart is not too wide, like this one, to go to the end of the chart because it doesn't take quite as long. But I'm also mindful that this whole top chunk of chart is all pretty much the same. You're not actually going to get to anything until you get right down here to the horse's head. And I mean, the colors are beautiful, don't get me wrong, but it's going to be a while. Probably, judging by the size of this, all this section probably isn't going to show you much except horse's head. His ears are probably going to be somewhere around here. The unicorn, the horn is probably going to be somewhere way down here. So I'm mindful of that. So I'm thinking, if I go back to diagonal on this side, because I'm working on the right, will I get to that unicorn quicker? I don't know, just looking at the chart, actually getting into more detail. I think no matter which way I go, whether I go right to left or I go top down or I go diagonal, it's still going to take me a while to get into that middle section. I'm not one for starting in the middle, so I'm not really going to go there. I've tried that before and failed. So I think I'll just continue. I might end up going back to the diagonal. I find when my diagonals get too long, they feel a bit daunting. So we could go for shorter diagonals, or we could just go in blocks. I don't know. I feel like by now somebody needs to come up with some more methods. I know that Gemma Stitches, she does a color flow method now. I can't seem to get to grips with it. It's very good, but I can't seem to get to grips with leaving the gaps and going back. I don't know. It's just something that's not quite working for me. So that's Fairy Whispers. Really enjoyed working on that one. Okay, the next one I'm going to show you is called Perfect Wisdom. It's a story keep by Lisa Parker. Here is the chart. And I cropped a little section off the top because there was a lot of just 939 and 310. And I think just to make it look more, what have I got on my scissors? Something sticky. I've been cutting sticky labels. Just to make it more balanced, I may cut a row or two off the bottom. So where the bottom of this rock ends down here, I think I'm going to crop to there. So it'll be that bit and that bit taken off just a little bit. It won't be so long, but it'll look fine. So this one is 150 by 409. And I started it on the 15th of January this year. And I'm going to actually put a picture up because I always feel like when I brought this one out, I feel like, I haven't really got anything done on this. But when I look back at a picture of what it looked like I think in July, 2 months ago, basically, I have done a huge amount since July. Maybe not this month, but I did certainly do it during the summer. So I'm going to show you. Now this was the one that had a bit of a mix of tent and full crosses, because I started it in tent and then I decided I want to do full cross. So it's a mixture of both. So here is what I have got done. I've got this all nice and prepared and tidy. I even ironed my fabrics, but I wasn't able to get out the hoop marks completely, but I did a decent job of it. Let me just move my mug out the way. So yeah, this is how he's looking. And I worked on him around this section here, bottom of his face basically. So I came down a bit more and I've done all this section. And I brought him out 3 times this month and I got 448 stitches, so just under 500 stitches, which again isn't bad because he wasn't supposed to come out this month, but he did for a little while. So I'm quite happy with this. So all this dark area in the background The light is so good from the window that you can see all the little cat hairs that have expertly woven into my stitching. But hopefully you won't see them in normal light. Oh gosh, I didn't think about the joys and perils of having a cat when I started stitching. So all of this is tent up here, and all of this owl and the moon is in one over one full cross, and that's how I intend to keep going. You can't even tell the difference because you just can't. But it does actually, when you look close up, and I would like to maybe bring it a bit closer, you can see, you can actually see. And you know, I'm absolutely loving the tones of silver and blues. There's different silvers and blues. I don't know if it's going to be picked up by the camera. I hope so. I'll try and zoom in a bit. Silvers and blues, dark blues and blacks and purples. Lots of very light purples. I mean, there's so many colours in this area alone. It is absolutely beautiful and worth it, I think. Because when you look at it close up, you can really see the different sparkly colours. It's just beautiful. And this lovely blue, I'm not sure what colour that one was. Just sort of, it's like a halo around the owl. So he's looking really well. And I'm very pleased with what I got done on him. I don't think there's anything else I need to say about him. I'm thinking of bringing him out again in October. But in October, I've got some plans for my Halloween stitching, which I'm going to talk about. Very happy to have worked on him this month, even if just a little. It is quite heavy going, to be fair, because this area, which I want to get moving on, and which I did, is actually a nightmare to stitch. Like 2 of these little squares takes me about 2 hours, if not a bit. Well, I do tend to like maybe look at something on a screen like TV, or I listen to podcasts, or so I do pause to take in what I'm listening to every so often. So I'm not just consistently stitching. So give or take, you know, I slow things down a little bit myself. But still, even so, it is so confetti mad that it does take me a good while to get that done. But never mind, you know, they say the best things in life take the longest time to do, and or something like that anyway. So that's perfect. I've been calling him Perfect Whisper because I get him mixed up with Fairy Whisper, but he's actually Perfect Wisdom. So I apologize, in my previous video I kept referring to him as a whisper, and he's a wise old owl, so he's Perfect Wisdom. So that's what I worked on too. The next one I want to show you, I love this one. This is called Westminster. It's a kit. I didn't think I was going to bring this one out this month again, but I did. Okay, so the next one that I worked on this month is an anchor kit by MAIA, and it's called Westminster. So here is how it looks. I've only got a little small print out here of this one, and I started this one, again, first quarter of the year or something like that, or second quarter of the year, I'm not sure. And I'm actually pleased with what I got done this month. I started in the middle, and I'm working around the clock and around the outside of the clock. And I'll show you how far I've gotten this one. So this is worked on 16 count, and can you see the sun coming in the window there? So this is worked on 16 count, and it's a combination of half stitches, quarter stitches, half stitches, back stitches. It's got everything, right? So if you don't like all that stuff, do not get this kit because it is a little bit crazy, especially these areas where you've got like the half stitch over the quarter stitch. Yeah, and it tends to be a little bit thick. So I think the last time I worked on this, I was only working or focusing on the right side, and now I've added all this on the left, and I actually went all the way to the end of the left side because I've got this thing now, because because I messed up with one of my other kits and I only found out that I'd given myself 1/2 inch margin at the end or something, barely an inch. I wanted to make sure this time that I was okay, even though I'd measured it 100 times, and I am okay because I've got to here, and I think that's the end of the chart. If I go to the other side, the center point of the chart is around here, which is about right. I know that the clock was a little bit to the left, but the colors, just look at them. Oh my God, they're beautiful. And it's just, I just want to keep working on this one now because the sky is something else. I mean, I cannot wait to get all these colors in. The top right, oops, come down a bit. All these colors, top right, over here. I think it's going to look stunning. So it's going to take me forever, mind you, because even though it's half stitch, there is a lot of sky. But that's okay because it's so beautiful and colorful. It's fine. I'll get through it little bit by bit. Now, obviously, I don't have any figures for this one because it's a kit, so I don't have a pattern keeper reading of it, of how many stitches I do. I know I brought it out at least 5 times this month, or if not more, maybe for a week to do all this area. I would love to have this on PDF because my chart is starting to get faded. I've done photocopies. My photocopies always come out a bit crappy. I would just prefer a PDF. So I've emailed, I think it's, let me see, Luca S, because I don't know exactly who to email, but I've emailed Luca S because they have it for sale. So I thought, well, I'll start there. Maybe they can come back and let me know if there's any possibility of having a PDF. I know a lot of people now put their paper charts into PDF. I've tried multiple times and I just can't seem to do it well. I wish one of you guys who live closer would come around and give me a hand. Or would help me get it into PDF. I've looked at videos and I just can't seem to do a good job of it. If I can't get it on a PDF, I will just continue to stumble along with my little pieces of photocopies or whatever. But yeah, it would just be nice. I know that Mereshka now have their own, app. They've got their own app for their own designs only, not for anybody else, other designers, for their own designs, and you can get your Mereshka kits in a PDF or in an upload file, which is formatted by them only, so you can't really put it into anything else, which is great because it means you can't pass it around or share it with other people. So you've got this, I think it's called Fanta Stitch, and I do have a Mereshka kit called Winter Evening, and I emailed Mereshka and said, look, here's the proof that I purchased it. Can I please have your digital, electronic file? And they gave it to me after I proved that I'd purchased it. And I downloaded the app called Fanta Stitch, and I imported it, what they gave me, into that. And it is the file for the cross-stitch pattern that I bought. However, I have no idea how to use that app. So it worked for me for Mereshka. So I wonder if Luca S can do anything. If not, I don't think Anchor has Anchor kits. I know Anchor threads, but do the Anchor kits have, like, I don't know if they would provide a digital PDF. Oh, I don't know. Anyway. So this one came out for about a week and I'm really, really enjoying it. Really, really loving it. It's a shame that I have to have it on the paper because the paper and the pencil goes flying, and then I need to look for the pencil sharpener, and then I had to, it's just, once you get used to using digital files, you really get spoiled. And I don't remember ever grumbling so much about paper patterns in the older days, but now I grumble about the paper patterns because we become enabled and we become spoiled by technology. Then we just, we don't want to do it anymore. I know there's lots of people who are still paper chart fanatics, which is great. But I'm using Pattern Keeper for just about everything I do now. So yeah, just I can't stop looking at the colours on that. I can't wait till I can do the little clock face. I don't want to do it too soon. I'm going to save that for a special moment, I think. So that's Westminster. I can't believe how nicely. Everything comes out once you iron it. It's not perfectly ironed, and I think it's creased up again. It'll be creased up again in 10 minutes, but I did have a bash anyway. Okay, so the next one that I worked on is called, so this is really not me. I don't do samplers. I've tried doing samplers. I get bored of samplers. I throw them aside, and you know, I've got Fruits of Plenty in my cupboard, and I still want to get back to it, but it doesn't call me, so I don't want to stitch on things I don't want to stitch on. But this one called me. I don't know, I think it's the colour in it. I just love the colour, and I think it goes with my room because my room's all lovely and blue. And it's called Alice in Wonderland Sampler. I got it on Etsy. I don't remember the name of the shop, but if you type in Alice in Wonderland Sampler, it'll probably come up in your search somewhere. Now, so here it is, and this one I started doing it on 1/1 full cross, 18 count Zygote Ivory, and I wanted to get as close a match colour of this as possible. Let me see if I can grab it here, which I settled on slightly not the same. It's a bit more greeny blue than the one in the picture, but it's DMC 3810 is the one that I chose, and it is absolutely beautiful. I'll show you that now. Haven't got a huge amount done on this one. Again, I don't have it. Oh, I do have it on Pattern Keeper. Hang on, did I write down, did I make a note of how many stitches I've done in it? No, I didn't make a note. However, this is my progress on the border, and I'm really actually enjoying it. Didn't think I would keep it up. I was hoping I would, and I did. I think I've done a bit more on the top here along, and I think it's really rather pretty. And there is another chart that complements this, and I think it's one that's got the Mad Hatter at the sort of the tea party. So if you want to have a look, if I ever get to finish this one, I may get the companion piece. And I really can't wait to get to this section. But I think there's so many little layers, so many borders to actually get to that section. I might as well just forget about being impatient. I could kind of zip down in the middle and start this border, and then I can fill it in. I don't know. I just don't know. I feel like I should go all the way around, which is quite scary, because when you do, I've seen people that just continue and go around, and when they start coming up here, it gets very scary, because you want to make sure that it matches up this side. And if it doesn't match up, then you've had it. Game over, but no. See, I'm too scared to go all the way around in case that's the case. But I guess it's better to find out first than doing the whole center and then finding that the border doesn't match up, right? So I don't know. What would you advise? Let me ask you. But anyway, I guess if you did like 1/2, like the top half, say, and then you continued down, I don't know. Anyway, I don't know which way I'm going. I don't know what I'm doing, but I do like the colour. I love the colour. I'm not liking the sun. I might have to close curtain. Gosh, everything conspires against you when you do a floss tube. Okay, that's that one. Anyway, it did come out for a little bit, and I enjoyed what I did. So there we are. That's Alice. I just call it Alice. Now, where am I going to put these other ones? Oops, bumped again. Right, the next one is my pride and joy. This is called Riverwalk Charm. I have to show this every time because people say to me, I want to see it, I want to see it, because they like it so much. So this is obviously the one I've been working on the longest. I'm much further ahead. This is 700 by 547 stitches, artwork by Rowan Manning. I'm working it on, at the moment, 1/1 full cross. I was doing tent. I switch around quite a lot. And yeah, I'm almost done with the top section of this chart. Let's see how I can wrangle it onto the table without kicking everything off. So first of all, I'll show you how I'm going to do this. Let's go up. Okay. This is a challenge. I just want to show you the bit I've worked on first. So top section here, I have worked on this area more or less. I'm not going to be able to unfold the whole lot in one piece because it's just too big and I have to move things out of the way. But you get the idea. So it just looks like a picture, doesn't it? So I've worked on all this area and I did more of the bridge, so I'm going to have to bring it out this way. There we are. So I've worked on this area and I finished this page basically. I did a lot, I think, on this one. Where is that? Bingo. I did 1,171 stitches this month. So I've worked on mostly finishing this umbrella. So I thought I might go by page now. So I drew these blue lines and this little section here. Where's my little scissors? It's actually really easy to point at things with the little scissors. So where this blue line is, that's the end of a page. So I thought I'm going to continue down, finish that little page, and then this blue line here is at the bottom of another page. So I could finish that one. So my aim really is to keep going right and finishing from this line up. And then I'm going to come down. So I'll end up squaring this off basically. Eventually, this is going to take me a good while to do. So basically we're going to have a line here all the way to here, square this off, and then I will have done all that section up to, I will have finished that much of the chart, say a bit more. All that will be done. So then I will concentrate on this bottom section. That's the idea. I don't know if that's actually going to be what I do, but that's what I have in mind at the moment. So when I drew these blue lines, I was like, let's just, because it is overwhelming and I seem to flitter from one bit to the next bit down to this end down here, which I left in a bit of a mess, to be honest. Because when you have something this big, eventually, unless you're consistent, there's no rhyme or reason. If you go all over the place, you end up feeling like you're all over the place. So on this part of the chart, I was down here. Oh, and I did do a little bit more here. I did finish the bottom of this table around here. And I did some more of the flowers. I think I did a whole column here, around here. So I've done a lot. Doesn't look like a lot in the grand scheme of things, but it's a lot. And I want to get some of these threads worked in as well, because they've been hanging here forever. And they're probably a bit too tangled for my taste. Yeah, I don't like them so tangly. So, as I was saying, sorry, I went a bit blank there. I thought skittering about the place. And I thought, no, I don't really want to, because I don't know, when I come to work on it next, I don't know where I am, what I'm doing. So then that's why I decided I'm going back. I'm going back to here, and I'm going to square off this end. And let's have a look at the lovely tree at the top, because this is worth looking at. The trees at the top seemed to go on infinitely. I mean, I felt like I was turning into a tree, to be honest. There was no thoughts or functions in my head. I was just so tired. But look at that. Look at the colours on that. Isn't that beautiful? Now, I think the whole thing needs a good wash. But obviously, I'm not going to wash it yet because I don't want to get rid of this grid. And the sky. And look at that. Just look at that tree. It's spectacular. Oops. It's spectacular, isn't it? And it just gets, it seems to start really bright and then it just seems to get brighter and brighter as you go down. It really is a beautiful autumn scene. I kept thinking, is this summer or is this autumn? But I think there's a lot of golden colours, which to me scream autumn. They don't scream summer. Summer would be more green. And they're all turning sort of darker green, those leaves. So I'm thinking, yeah, this is definitely, and this is the time of year to be working on this then. So even though I do want to get back to this end to sort out this area, I think I should go with my plan. What do you think? I should go with my plan of keeping to the pages here, and then I'll feel like it's a mini achievement. So every time I finish a little page around here, it'll be a mini achievement, won't it? But you know, sometimes I bring it out and think, oh, it's going to take me forever. But to be honest, I do actually remember when I was somewhere up here and I was thinking to myself, when I hit this roof, I think maybe I had done that much up to my finger there. And I was thinking to myself, oh my God, this is going to take forever. Why have I signed up for this? I must be absolutely crazy. Why am I doing I'm just going to be here stitching forever. But no, because not long after I'd done all of that. So it really just does take, you know, not even every day, just half an hour. It depends how quickly you want to finish things. I'm not thinking about finishing. Just a few stitches here and there, you know, it does make a difference. And those people who do like one thread a day, they're really onto something. But I feel like the one thread a day thing, by the time I've done one thread, I just want to keep going. I don't want to stop. So it's never going to be one thread a day for me. And also by the time I've got it wrangled up into the hoop and into the Lowry, and I've sat down and I've sorted out my threads and I've got my scissors and blah, 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 and I'm all ready, I think, now I'm going to put it away. So for me, it's like, if I start something, it always takes me a couple of minutes, or more than a couple of minutes, probably takes me about 10 minutes to actually get into it. Then I keep going for at least half an hour, or until I have to get up, you know, maybe do the dinner or whatever, and then maybe I'll come back later and do a few more stitches. So yeah, apologies, I can't bring out the whole thing for you to see, but yeah. So we've definitely got good progress. Did I say how many stitches I'd done on this? I keep putting this sheet away. 1171, and I brought it out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. For some reason, on one day it says I did one stitch. Now I don't know what happened there. Maybe I did one stitch by mistake, or I don't know. How can you just do one stitch? Nobody sits down to do one stitch. That's what my pattern keeper says. Maybe I pressed it by mistake, pressed a stitch by mistake, because I don't believe that I would sit down and do one stitch and then put it away. Because that's insane, right? But also, on the 19th of September, it says I did 3 stitches. So I don't know what's going on there. Did I wake up in my sleep and sit down and do a stitch and go back to bed? I'm telling you, it's a mystery, I tell you, a mystery. I have no idea what that's about, but that's what Pattern Keeper says. So I'm not going to argue, but I do find it rather amusing. Bit of a mystery. So there we have it. That's my biggest, boldest piece, and yeah, I could not UFO this, because to UFO it would be an absolute sin. After all the amount of effort I've made with it, it's worthy of going forward. Even if I put it away now and again because I get burnt out, which I do. I get burnt out with everything after a while. It's got to such a point now where this has to get finished someday. So again, I'm not going to start saying, oh, it's going to be 2026 or it's going to be 2027. I'm just giving it a bit of love every month. Okay, and I think that's better than getting burnt out and trying to aim for a finish and trying to aim for, because then I just get sick of it. I get sick of it and I put it away and I think I never want to see you again. And that's not what I want to feel about something that I chose to do. So I'm trying to, you know, not get sick of it basically. So I'm working on it. And I said, because I'm doing the, excuse me, I'm going to need a drink here. These allergies are playing up again. Because I'm doing the 1 over 1 full cross now, I do feel like it does take that a little bit longer. It does. But I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking about the actual process of stitching it. The actual, not the progress, the process. Whilst I'm actually doing stitching, am I enjoying, you know, the size of needle I'm using? Am I enjoying the process of it? And I have to say that I am. With my size 28. I think it's a size 28 that I use. It's a smaller one and the 1 strand. And I feel like it feels calmer to me. Before I was doing 2 strands tent and it was more tapestry-like and it was harder and getting harder to push the needle through. It's getting really matted at the back and stuff. And I was like, oh, I'm not really sure about this. So I went to the 1 over 1 full cross and I was enjoying it a bit more and I'm still enjoying it. So yeah, you know, it's a big learning journey. It's a big learning curve to try and find your sweet spot when it comes. It can take a long, long time to get to that point, I tell you, because there's so many different ways that you can stitch something. I think I've said enough about that one. Okay, so now I'm coming to the one that I am really excited about. So last month in my video, I was talking about, I can't remember why I said I started it, but I must have had a reason. Vatican Sunset, and this was a requester size. And I don't know, for some reason, I've been looking at it for ages. It was on my wish list. I've been nearly started it back in February or March, I think, but I just held out because I had too much going on. And I thought I wouldn't mind putting a few stitches into this coming up to the end of the year to see how it looks. And this is the requester size. If you don't know what that means, it's kind of the size in between the mini and the larger ones, which I'm more gravitating towards now because I do not want another supersized piece. I just feel like what I've got at the moment is enough for me to be getting on with, and to be seeing progress on the things I have. There's lots still that I've got put away that I may never even get back to. I don't know. But for the ones that I've been working on this month, I got good progress on them. But I needed something new, something fresh. Every so often we do, I think, and that's okay. So yeah, so the requester size is 525 by 350. It's a Thomas Kincaid. And then I was thinking, oh, I've already finished a Thomas Kincaid. So why, no problem. I can do another one. Actually, the Westminster that I showed you earlier is also a Thomas Kincaid. So that's 3 Thomas Kincaids I've got. I never knew I was such a fan. So I started this one. Although I've put the 1st of September here, I actually started a couple of days before because I was just impatient. That's me. I got too excited. And I'm doing this 1 over 1 full cross on the 25 count. And I'm also sort of working this one with so a couple of us started new charts in my Discord, and we're just sort of uploading our progress as and when we get progress. So I'm really looking forward to seeing their progress as well on their charts. They're not doing the same one as me, they're doing different charts, but it's always fun to go in and see other people's progress too. Okay, so that's that. And here is, and I mean, I'm talking about, I literally started this less than a month ago. And this is how much I've actually got done. Now, I think that is a lot of progress for 3 or 4 weeks. So I have been really, really excited to see. So I started in corner and I was doing a diagonal, and then I decided to go in blocks. And I'm really excited to see the colours because they look sort of on the printout. They look kind of bland. You can never really tell 100% with the mock-up, to be honest, because pictures can be, you can add brightness to pictures and you can take away some contrast, or you can desaturate them. this one looks a bit desaturated compared to the real thing. So when I looked at this, I thought, yeah, I love the colours, but I didn't realise how good they were actually going to be when I actually stitched them. So here we've got what it looks like stitched, and my goodness, look at the colours already coming in through there. And this is going to look amazing from a distance, because you're going to see little twinkling lights coming in more and more. And they're not even very apparent on the skyline here, this corner. Imagine when you get to down here, when you see all those twinkling lights and twinkling stars up here, what looks like stars. Well, actually, it does look a bit like stars when you get the little tiny bits of white peeping through. And it's just going to get more and more bold, more and more yellow, beautiful. Is this sunset? Yeah, beautiful sun. Oh, it says it in the name, doesn't it? I'm such an idiot. So you get the beautiful golden colours in the clouds and the sunset. And I also find it really cute where you've got all the little people milling around, because that's actually really true. So if I've driven past the Vatican. Depends where you drive past, what angle you see it from. There's always people there, always. And I think the Pope comes out one of these windows every so often to say his prayers, to give his, mass. And I tell you, within seconds, because I think when we drove past, the square was empty. And then there was like some noise coming out of a gramophone or speakers or something, and in Italian, and I presume it's because the Pope was ready to come out and, do his little mass or whatever. Within seconds, the place was filling up. I could not believe how quickly an audience gathers in that square. And then he starts doing his little speech from the window. And so so to me, it's like the time when we went past, my husband and I, and just people milling around, tourists and things. And then all of a sudden it's full. So it just reminds me of that vacation that we had. And of course, it's such a beautiful, holy place. I take in that calm and that peacefulness and that godliness. And I take in all that whilst I'm stitching it. So for me, it's a heavenly piece because it's related to God. And also it brings that calm and that, that sense of inner peace anyway, which I really appreciate. So that's the atmosphere I have stitching this one. I sit down. It feels like I'm replicating something holy in a way. So I'm very happy with that. You won't believe how many stitches I got done on this. So I got 6,461 stitches. So that's literally like how many a day? Oh, I don't know. I have to get my calculator out. But yeah, I've done about up to 400 stitches a day. The most, actually only done about 400 on average a day, which isn't a huge amount really, but over the course of 24 days, it all adds up. And the highest I've ever done on a day is 445. Sorry, no, I'm wrong. 651 I did on the 16th of September. I'm quite liking the way I've done this little chart. Yeah, so that's really loving the colours. And I want to keep going with this one, but I also want to keep going with the rest. So yeah, we're back to that predicament of I want to do one and I want to do all. The never-ending conundrum that we have. So looking forward to getting more done here on this sky. And I think I might be moving down. That's the last thing I wanted to mention is I look at the picture and think, oh my God, it's going to take me forever to get over to here. If I work down, I'll get all this beautiful area in. Then I can move to the right. How about that? So, yeah. So just keep going down. Maybe end there and keep going down. But I am feathering. I'm being careful to feather because I am worried about... I've never seen lines in my work, neither in tent stitch, neither in cross stitch. But then when I hear other people talking about it, it kind of gives me the heebie-jeebies and I get all worried about it again, even though I know it's not happening to me. I think I'm doomed. Or maybe it happens this time. So I do a little extra stitch, you can see here on the right, just randomly. So thinking if I'm going down, I'm going to end up getting more of this beautiful section of the chart. Then I can go back up and do the sky, and that'll be a break from sky. If I did the whole top at the end, I'd probably get really tired because I've got the whole Westminster sky to do as well, haven't I? So it's just never-ending sky. Talk about being in heaven. I'm going to spend my life stitching heaven. Right, so that's that. That's the one that I've thoroughly enjoyed most, I think, this month. So let's see where we get in all of these next month, or if any of them get dropped out, if something else gets pulled in. I don't like to predict because I feel like I've said loads of times, I just like to go with what is calling to me. And if something doesn't call to me, I ain't doing it. And I've just decided that life's too short to be stitching on stuff I ain't happy with. Although I'm pretty sure that I'm dedicated enough to get through quite a lot of my whips. Maybe not all of them. I don't think anyone's ever going to be able to finish all of them. But I am going to make a concerted effort. The ones that I really like, I'm going to try and finish before I pop off, so to speak, to put it nicely. Okay, so this brings me to my Halloween. This talk merits having my little lucky cat here. Let's talk about Halloween and what I started just randomly on a whim. I decided, because again, this is a free chart that I had downloaded from Artecy, and I've looked at it loads of times. I've seen somebody started it a while back. It's like, oh yeah, but I've just done Vatican Sunset. Do I want to start another one? You know, the usual little argument you have with yourself in your head. And I thought, you know what, maybe I could just do it for October. Why not? Because I don't have any other Halloween stitch. I don't have anything that's got anything to do with Halloween. And do you know what? I should, because Halloween is my birthday, which means I'm actually a witch. A real witch, yes. I was born on Halloween. So that means I should be entitled. If nothing else gives me if nothing else gives me permission to start a Halloween stitch, I think being born on that day does. So here we have it. This is Moonwitch, and it is a free chart by Artecy. I think if you are a member of the Artecy Facebook group, you can go into the files and you can find it there. I do have to tell you, it is an AI chart. So if you have a problem with that, at least she tells you that it's an AI chart. You know, I do actually respect more the designers. I know AI is becoming more and more, you know, prominent in our lives in every single way. I do respect more artists that actually mention it at least and tell you, so that you can make a certified choice. You know, you can make a choice whether you want to actually use it or not. So yeah, well done to Rena Clark for actually, you know, just telling us that it is an AI chart and not something she's painted and pretended that she's painted. So this is 204 by 300 stitches. And I thought, do you know what? I want to try again doing this one maybe on cross country. But I want my stitches to be a little bit bigger than they are on 25 count, just a little bit. Now, I've been having a lot of trouble with 22 count hard danger. It didn't agree with me with the slipping of threads. So what's the next thing? 20 count. So I ordered, first of all, I tried it on 18 count, and I felt like it was too sparse. The white was showing through too much. So I tried it on 20 count, and I think that's going to work fine. So here is my little start. Itsy bitsy, I know. And those are the darker colours. And I think once it's up on the wall, it's going to be fine. So that's the 20 count, 1/1 full cross. 18 count was just a little bit. On 18 count, I found that people say, and I'm inclined to agree with other things I've stitched before, 2 strands over 1, if there's a lot of confetti, 2 strands will be bulky, sometimes difficult to work. 1 strand is too sparse. The 20 count gives you just that, it's just a teeny bit, the hole is just a teeny bit smaller than 18 count, so you do get a little bit better coverage. And I think it's absolutely going to be fine when it's framed in a distance. So I'm going to keep going with this. And also, my issue has always been finding the little gaps now I can see them a lot easier in between the, so if you're cross-countrying around here, it's easier to see the gaps. I can actually count them. On the 25 count, I can't sometimes even tell if there's 2 gaps or 1 gap. Sometimes the gap is nearly almost covered, especially when you've got a grey grid underneath. And if you're working a lot of grey colours on 25 and higher, it's really, really hard to see the stitch. And I'm poking to see if there's a grey stitch in it, and it isn't. It's actually just the colour of the grid. And that's really frustrating. But here they're big enough for me to see that. You know, I think it's just my eyes are getting old. And also, I don't want to be struggling. I don't want to be like peering down into it, trying to figure out if there's a stitch there or not, to be honest. Working in rows, it's easier to count. You don't have those gaps. On the 20 count, I feel like that for me, 20 count would be more of a go-to for cross-country for me. I think that would work better. Did I put down how many stitches I did? Yes, so there's about 386 stitches done on here so far. And my little chart here, I've actually put that I started on the 23rd, and I got 300 stitches in, and then I did another 80 yesterday. And again, this is going to be an October stitch, so I don't know if I'm going to mostly focus on this one because it is October and it is my Halloween choice. So yeah, maybe I will. Maybe I will focus on, I don't know, depends what I feel like stitching on, basically. So that, my friends, is the end of my whips for the month. I hope you've enjoyed seeing some of them, and I've certainly enjoyed stitching on most of them. So I feel like I've done fairly well, considering I was only going to get to about 2 or 3. So that's it for the stitching. So if you're only here for the stitching, that's fine. Thank you for stopping by, and thank you for watching. And now I'm going to talk about, I don't really have anything live to talk about really, because everything is pretty much the same, which is good. So you don't want major changes in your life. Apart from the changing seasons and getting the allergies, I'm plodding along quite well. But what I can talk about is a couple of books that I purchased for the season. Not that I'm going to read them both. The first one is the Book of English Magic. Now, I always feel like watching scary movies this time of year, coming up to Halloween, but I get scared, too scared to watch them. So I don't know why I just keep buying books like this and stuff. So this looked interesting. So I got these 2 books. I don't know if I've shown them before on my channel, but it's about English magic. And I'm not sure if this is an actual book that you would read from beginning to end, or is it something that you just dip into for, like, it says something here about Druid festivals, the days of the Druid festivals, and the things that they used to do, how they used to celebrate. Typeface here looks a bit faded, actually. I think it's probably something more to be dipped into rather than read from cover to cover. Looking at it now, has it got an index of some type? Oh yeah, so we've got in different chapters, different categories. It just, something about it, because I love all this stuff, just appealed to me. So let's see, for one of the chapters it's got Skin Turning and Spellcraft, the world of witches and warlocks. Here it's got the spirits of dead magicians, secret chiefs, hidden masters, and the adepts of the Rosy Cross. The Wizard's Return, the Queen's Astrologer. The Book of English Magic explores the curious and little-known fact that of all the countries in the world, England has the richest history of magical lore and practice. There you go. So if you're interested in something like that, there's a book to read this time of year. It seems to be interesting. Piqued my curiosity anyway. It says it's got experiments to try and places to visit, as well as an historical exploration of magic and interviews with leading magicians. Oh, that's interesting. So there's one to sit up at night looking at. And then I got this one, which is very familiar. The Salem Witches, 1692. This is a history. They're quite new, these books. I have not delved into them yet. I think most people know the story of the Salem Witches in Massachusetts. When a minister's niece began to scream and convulse, it ended less than a year later, but not before panic had infected the entire colony. 19 men and women had been hanged, and a band of adolescent girls had brought Massachusetts to its knees. So this is another interesting book to read. I know I've read the story before, and I know lots of people, and there's lots of documentaries as well about it. But you always get a different take. There's photos in this, which is interesting, like woodcuts from the 16th century. So if you're into that, I think when I go to these books, I always go to do you not go to a bookshop and you just open up the photographs inside and have a look at them first, because they always look so cool. Yeah, it's like an old shopping list. No, it probably isn't. Yes, that looks like something like that. I think this one you'd be reading. Oh look, I think I made a start. It's got like a dog. What do you call it? A dog ear fold? I can't remember what you call it now. Yeah. This is quite heavy reading though, I have to say. You have to sort of be properly paying attention to all the dates and names and everything. But yeah, it looks interesting. So these are two books to curl up with on a dark Halloween night and get my little black cat and my little mug. And gosh, that seems like I'm set up for my birthday. So that's it, folks. That's all I've got for this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope it didn't run on too long for you. I don't tend to normally do very long videos, but I just thought, well, you know, why not for a change? Have a little bit more to say, a little bit more to show, a little bit more to talk about. I think I need to go and grab something to eat now. So, the other thing I wanted to mention was I would like to come back and do some Stitch With Me's, maybe on this Moonwitch, and get your thoughts on that, because I haven't done Stitch With Me's for a little while. I'm a little bit out of practice. There's also some very good floss tubers now doing a lot of Stitch With Me's, so I don't know whether, you know, it's necessary for me to add mine. Or maybe I could, I don't know. Just thought maybe I could do a few Stitch With Me's, let me know. I could do maybe one a week for the whole of October on this Moonwitch, or just whenever I fancy, basically, and get a few stitches and just a little basic chatting whilst I stitch. So let me know about that. And I think that's everything, folks. So with that, I will leave you today, and thank you again for stopping by and spending time with me. And I hope to see you all again very soon. So take care, God bless, and bye for now.